Recording, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Crystal. This is my partner, Shine, and together we are Unite's co-founders. You are tuning in today on the Unite show. We're doing a weekly show every Tuesday at 6:15 Pacific Standard Time. And every week we have a different amazing speaker and subject or speakers, as we have today, and a different subject. And today we are talking about the rise of conscious media, and we're going to get a little glimpse into the global peace tribe as well. So very exciting day. We've got two beautiful guest speakers. We've got Scott Catamas and Eden here joining us. Yay! Thank you so much. And for everyone tuning in, we're going to do a little intro, and then we're going to have time for Q&A. So do stick around. And also at the end, we always leave a little bit of time to share if you have a project or offering or something Unite can support with. We'll have time for that as well. So do stick around for that. We are recording tonight, so if you do have any questions but you want to stay off camera, please feel free to write them in the comments and we will get those answered for you. You can raise your hand in the little raise hand icon to get your question answered. So there's our little intro. Shine, do you have anything to add?
Nope.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you, sweetheart. So we can get started. We'd love to have a little just overview intro from Scott, Eden, and then we can get into a little deeper dive. So welcome and thank you for joining us tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here. And I'm not sure if you put the spotlight on all of us so we can all see each other, or... So just for what it's worth, I'm still only seeing you two. And you two are beautiful, so I'm happy looking at you, but my ego wants people to see me if I'm talking, so...
We can see you.
The recording has you as the speaker.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah, your view is not working to change the speaker in the gallery.
No, I get gallery view, but on speaker view, I'm getting the tour view. So I'm wondering, did you spotlight me?
You're spotlighted for us.
Yes.
Very funny.
Okay. The recording will have you as spotlight. I'm not sure what's going on there.
All right. Well, I get to look at the tour view while I speak. And I see everybody up on top. Omashar, my beloved brother, and of course Eden, my colleague, and Bobby. So welcome. Well, let's see what to say. And now I'm seeing a blank of Mary Beth C. So just recognizing that you guys are still kind of new to this, it's just interesting. Kind of just report. Yeah, and I don't have self-view hidden. So interesting.
I pinned you. Does that work?
Well, we lost Mary Beth C when you pinned me, so that was good because I was just looking at a blank screen that had her name, but I'm still seeing the two of you. So
Okay.
All right. Oh, we're just having a conversation.
We're having a conversation. All right, deep breath. This little interesting moment actually is certainly, I guess, a good place to start in terms of talking about the Global Peace Tribe, because for me, I really shifted from doing everything live to everything online in 2016. Up until that point, I was doing anywhere from 5 to 10 live retreats every year and seeing all my clients in person. And where I was living, up in Hidden Valley Lake, we had a very big fire, a huge fire. And it burned down Harbin Hot Springs, which is where I was doing retreats and where I taught a weekly class. And it's funny, my partner at the time, Emily, and I, we really tuned in and we got, part of the lesson when something that big happens and a lot of our friends lost their homes and it was a big event. It's like, we really got to go online. It's time to really shift to an online business. And that's an adjustment. And I have friends that are still really struggling to shift online because they so love hugging and cuddling. And there's nothing like in-person experiences. But I pretty well, because I was living in a more remote area, I made the shift. And because I had made the shift earlier, by the time COVID happened, I had 4 years of doing all my courses online and my classes online and, getting the technology down. And so when COVID hit, I was going to be doing a fundraising event in person at my friend Deborah Giusti's house for our pal Fantuzzi. But then social distancing and masks and isolation. So we decided to make it an online event. And we thought it was just going to be a one night only Saturday night fundraising event. We invited some friends to come and play music. And a lot of people showed up and they said, hey, this is really cool. Since we can't get together in person, would you be willing to do this every Saturday night, while this pandemic thing lasts? I don't know if you remember, we thought it was going to last like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that.
And then,
well, here we are 2.5 years later, and I'm still doing shows every Saturday night. In fact, this Saturday night, I'm blessed. I'm so excited to get to collaborate with Eden, who's one of my favorite colleagues. And I guess it might be good to, bring you in, Eden, and talk about the balance that you're finding of balancing online, because I know you do live events still and online events. So I'd love to hear from my colleague, Eden.
Thanks, Scott. I hope everyone can hear me and see me okay. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. And thank you, Shine and Crystal. It's an honor to be in this high frequency place. I can feel your intention. And yeah, Scott, like you're saying, there's nothing like the coherent field of a loving in-person container when you really go deep with people. And this being said, there's so much beauty to how many of us can connect and light up all around the world together now. And that shared heart field that isn't limited to 3D, to the physical space. So it's a yes and bringing conscious media, conscious content, wisdom to more people is really exciting to me. It lights me up to think how we're raising the frequency of the whole planet together through the conscious use of media, the conscious use of these platforms, instead of kind of being sucked into the mindless scrolling on social media. It's a very precise, intentional way to use technology for the collective awakening. And that just lights me up to be a part of it and feels very aligned with my purpose in the awakening of my own heart and the sharing of that love and wisdom with others. So I'm a big yes for these shows and platforms.
Lovely.
Beautiful.
You have such a nice energy. As soon as you started speaking, I'm like, that's nice.
I'm bringing the rainbow light. Scott has this like solar aura. We're together in these backgrounds. And
I joke that I look like I'm the Statue of Liberty, right?
Yeah.
You need a torch.
Yeah, and it's wonderful having been on the awakening world several times with Scott and feeling how many people are tuning in and catching the replays. And Scott, you created this massive movement, and the amount of love and community, innocently thinking, oh, we'll do this for 6 weeks or so, sure. And I mean, you probably have some amazing stats you could share with us about just the reach now of the Global Peace Tribe and the wave you've created.
Well, thank you. Yeah. So once we realized that this pandemic was going to last for a while and people were really going online, through Love Coach Academy, which is my day job, all of our love coaches jumped in and were doing online shows. And at one point we were doing 12 a week. And then as time went by, people kind of dropped out, or other people really stayed with it. And 4 shows really survived and have been going on ever since then. One is what was Saturday Night Alive. And then I was doing on Friday nights a show with my friend Trish Wright called Straight Talk, which is where we dealt with more social issues. And then I was doing something called the Sacred Sunday Show. And I bundled those all together under now the banner of the Awakening World. We started doing it all under the Awakening World banner last year. But then also Trish and her girlfriend Dawn have a show called the Self-Love Show, which is on Thursday mornings. And so I've personally hosted and produced over 500 online shows since the pandemic began. And, we've added up all the numbers, and definitely we've had millions. But what my most exciting number is? Let me take a look. Right now, looking at gallery view, my most exciting number is right now. Seeing a lot of my friends, a lot of people that I met through the Global Peace Tribe, Karen, Omashar, Leaf, almost every name I'm seeing, these are all people that, found Saturday Night Live, found the Global Peace Tribe. And about half the people that I'm looking at that are with us came to our very first retreat. We started doing retreats in October. And so I see, a lot of the people that are with us came to our very first retreat, Karen and Bonnie and Omashar and Kiki, Mary Beth. And so we are growing out now. We're going to do a retreat at the end of March in Southern California, possibly one in Glastonbury, England in May, and Asheville, North Carolina in October. And we'll do one sometime in the summer in Woodside, California. That's the Bay Area. So that's kind of an exciting thing that we are beginning to come together again. And I guess the other thing I'll mention, then I'd love to turn it back over to Eden, is something talking about conscious media. I was born and raised in Los Angeles. I started my own theater company, plays for teenagers by teenagers, about teenagers when I was 17. Wow. By the time I was 21, we were a full professional equity company, and we started producing television shows when I was 23. So I'm saying that to say that I've been in conscious media literally since I was a kid. But growing up in LA, it was very competitive, obviously. What's beautiful now is the collaboration, and especially since the pandemic, everyone that I work with, colleagues like Eden, presenters and speakers like Eden, people that have their own organizations, whether they're new organizations like yours or, organizations that have been around for a long, long time. It's beautiful to see how it's not competitive, but very collaborative. There's just an energetic frequency of, oh yeah, I'll support your show. Oh yeah, I'll be a guest on your show. Oh, it's, the ego is really at a minimum. And the collaboration is really peaking in beautiful ways. And have you noticed that, Eden? What's your experience been?
Yes, and I think when you're referring to kind of the Hollywood scene, it's much more about money and glamour. It's a whole different frequency that it's built on as compared to this conscious media movement, which is about us, like the show Unite. It's about unity consciousness. And I've been deeply involved in the divine feminine awakening movement and that embodying these archetypes, the divine feminine, for the last 13 years. And one of the core teachings is that when we are honoring the feminine, that we will be in this collaborative, compassionate, unified field of unconditionally loving embrace. That is the nature of the true divine feminine that's needing to be brought back into balance on this planet and in these systems that are obviously just not working well at all. So it's happening. I'm seeing it happening, and it's exciting, and it lights me up to be a part of so many different shows and to share my beloved friends' offerings through social media, to promote them through my mailing list, to lift each other up. And we have an expression in the mystery school work that I'm a teacher in, which is eye to eye, heart to heart, wingtip to wingtip, together we rise, together we rise. And so as I look at your background that says the Global Peace Tribe, it's like this tribe, everybody's welcome. Everybody can come. There's no tribalism. There's no we against them. It's really the unity of the heart. That's the piece we're bringing here.
Beautifully stated. I'm sorry, I'm used to hosting, but just a reminder to people to keep themselves muted, because
sometimes I'm just going during that right now.
Yeah. There's a wonderful thing that Deepak Chopra, who's been on my show several times, pointed out. It's really interesting about the most ancient spiritual texts that have survived. Are the Vedic scriptures written in Sanskrit about 7,000 years ago. And God is referred to as Brahman. And in the Vedic scriptures, they assign 26 principles to Brahman. Fast forward 7,000 years to today, and obviously our most sophisticated current science is quantum physics. In quantum physics, our scientists have proven that we're living in a unified field of ever-changing molecules. And scientifically, they have assigned 26, they've been able to determine 26 principles of the unified field. And the 26 principles of the unified field perfectly correlate with the 26 principles or definitions of Brahman written 7,000 years ago. Which means we're living in a time when our most ancient spiritual wisdom and our most modern scientific understanding are saying the exact same thing. It's two different ways to understand oneness. One other interesting thing about that, Deepak says that if we live to be, say, 90 years old, we will share in our lifetime approximately 10,000 molecules with every other being that has ever lived.
So cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And so, if you want to look at it scientifically, or if you want to look at it spiritually, or both, we really are coming into understanding oneness. And I bring this up because the conscious media platform of the internet is creating that. Now, people all over the world, whether you're in a small tribal area in Africa, or you're in Saudi Arabia, or wherever you are, you can access it. We can connect. We can come together. And that's powerful. And, the technology is only going to get better and more interesting. And, so again, there is a way that we are becoming one being. We're becoming aware that we really are, that God is this unified field of ever-changing molecules that we're all part of. We're all a drop in that ocean. And it's a powerful time that we're living in, of coming into this awakening from different points of view.
Beautifully said.
So good.
Yeah. You guys can come on the show anytime. If we're just like, yep, just take it away. Speak truth and wisdom.
So
I love
fun.
it.
Do you two have any specific questions for us, or anything you want to deepen with that we've mentioned so far?
Yeah. Shine, do you want to lead us off?
I mean, gosh, I'd love to know a little bit more. Maybe everyone, I don't know if everyone here knows, about your background and what you're up to, and what you envision for your future. But I just love to know kind of like the nuts and bolts basics of like who you are, what are you up to, how can we support you, and what are you excited about in the future, in the next year, and 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah, and because this is going to be recorded and replayed for our community to know where they can find you, how they can follow up with you. We'll share, of course, the links in the videos as well, but then they can get just a little juicier deep dive into what makes you guys tick, because we know this is a community of entrepreneurs and people in the wellness world, and it's not always the easiest path and the easiest journey. So we know that everyone who's got here and who's here now is here on purpose, and because they really have a drive to bring more magic into the world. So yeah, love to learn more about where that comes from for you guys, and where, like Shine said, where you see that going.
Well, I'll certainly tell my story, but I'd like to suggest that we give Eden the floor first, because I know that she's not going to be with us quite as long, or I think that's the case. So, and her story is really fascinating.
Okay.
I defer to Eden.
How long do I have? I'll quintessentialize the story, the golden nuggets. So I came in pretty connected to that feeling of being from the light or the source energy as a little hippie kid. I was the only kid in a kind of wild music, psychedelics. Young parents lived communally, tribally on the land. And the music really influenced me, and probably the, expanded consciousness around me as well. And then, like most of us, getting socialized, it was awkward. I was very precocious. My mom said I was a very old soul that would say the darndest things, those kind of kids that are just pretty bright and wanting to fit in, still wanting to belong, all of us, especially towards preteens and teens. For me, it was just like, how do I wear the right fashion and get the attention? And I found myself going from a pretty late bloomer, very awkward, very nerdy little kid into this kind of blossoming into what culture would kind of pedestalize as a very idealized beauty. By the time I was 15, I got scouted to become a model. And by the time I was 17, I was living internationally, traveling all over the world, making tons of money in the glamour world. And the interesting part is that there was one side of me that was very attracted to that and wanted to be cool, and the fame and the money and being seen as beautiful kind of felt powerful, right? And then there was this other part that was this very conscious little garden child that had read all her mother's comparative religion and Eastern philosophy books and was reading Autobiography of a Yogi as a teen and Baba Ram Dass Be Here Now, while the other girls are reading bridal magazines. And I was just devouring this stuff, yoga books, doing yoga at 13, meditating by the time I left home at 17, and very self-guided without a guru or a teacher. And these two paths were kind of running, parallelly, but very different for years while I was experiencing a very glamorous life. I ended up marrying a multimillionaire in Milan who was an art dealer. And I'm doing my chanting and breath work and yoga. And he's like, drink this Barolo and stop that. And eventually it came to a big crash at my Saturn return, which around 28 years old, 29 years old, things got very dark. My ex-husband started doing drugs, and I was traveling a lot for work and really just feeling immense pain at the split in my heart. And I found myself on a trip back home to the States, deciding to join a fast track self-help, very popular program that many of you have probably heard of and even done, the Landmark Forum. And I remember them saying, have you ever any history of any kind of break from reality or anything? I'm like, no. And what happened to me in the Landmark Forum during this period where my divorce was inevitable, and I had just gotten a record deal on top of all of that, because I've been a singer-songwriter too on this journey, I had an experience that I now know to be like a spiritual crisis or a Kundalini awakening that our culture doesn't really have the holding for. They don't recognize these kind of awakening symptoms that just look like you're dosed with mega hits of acid to the outside. And at the Landmark Forum, I had this energy blast through me. There was a shaking, and then this kind of pop or an upward movement of energy, and I kind of came to on the stage blasting or singing, belting a song about heaven on earth to the Landmark Forum. And then the next 4 days of my life were very psychedelic without any outer psychedelics. It was all my own inner process. And I'm so grateful for this now. It was very frightening to my family. It was frightening to people that knew me and loved me. Would she ever come back and speak the common conversation and be relatable? Because it was an altered state, much like in Carlos Castaneda, they talk about Don Juan whacking him on the back and shifting his consciousness, where you don't speak the common vernacular anymore. I was channeling, I was singing. So it took time to integrate, it took time to ground. And basically my life could never be the same after that. it was imperative for me to live in deeper alignment with my soul. Sometimes I joke that the Indian goddess Kali, who's like the destroyer goddess, kind of smacked me awake. Like, no more BS, no more living outside of alignment. You need to be on purpose now. You need to live a life aligned with love and wisdom and service, basically. So from there, it took some time. It took a lot of seeking. There was lots more yoga and meditation and shamanic studies. And then around 13 years ago, I found the Divine Feminine Mystery School training, and my mentor, it's a 13 Moon Mystery School. My mentor is Ariel Spilsbury. And it was such a blessing to have a being who mentored me with such unconditional love, to be an embodiment of the living goddess and not separate or different than anyone else, simply recognizing that that is who we truly are. And we are love. We are here to remember that. So I'm so grateful to now be able to take some of those teachings into the greater mainstream, and through platforms like this, share the love and wisdom. That's the nutshell. So I think Shine had asked me, and what do you see next? And what?
Yeah, where's it going? Tell us the story and the vision.
Yes. So one of my passions and loves, it's writing and music. It's writing lyrics and the messaging through music, because it's such a universal way of connecting and opening the heart. And conscious writing for conscious media, film, television. This is a big love of mine. So I've been involved in a few different projects recently that just, don't say too much before the eggs have hatched kind of thing, just to bless it up. That new narratives for humanity, narratives about how incredible we are, narratives that help us remember how connected we are, to trust our inner superpowers. We don't need Marvel movies or movies about mutants when we really see what's happening with our own sensitive kind of extrasensory abilities. Like, we are waking up. And I think that new narratives that give people, and especially younger people, the language, and that happens to me too, and I know, and I have those feelings and that hit and that intuition, and I trust my heart. It's like bridging through me, bridging this beauty that we're capable of. That's what I see next. More of that. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
So lovely to hear. As a mom of two not so little babies, my eldest is 12 and a half now, and they are media children. They are gamers. They are the internet is their world, and I really see what they're getting exposed to, and I trust that I've given them a healthy enough balance that they're very discerning. And the emotional awareness piece is something that, especially with my son, I've been working on together since he was very young. He's very much an empath, and very much had how to discern what's his and what's other people's energy. And we did so many exercises to draw or make physical his feelings and to help him process them. And I would share these stories with people around me as I was going, and they're just like, wow, I never thought of that. That's amazing. I'm going to use that for myself. And it really is that piece of, as we're learning and growing, and for me, parenting my children, I'm parenting myself and realizing these things would have been so helpful for me to understand that emotional piece. And I think I'm really excited to see this next generation that's going to have, because we've had the awakenings, we've had the big breaks, and I had my own big tear down between my dad's suicide and the end of my relationship with my kid's dad. There was I had my dark night of the soul moments as well. And I'm really excited the pieces that we're all getting out of those, but now having the language, I feel like, to translate them for the next generation. It's just going to be so exciting to see what these beings grow into, because I think of course, they're going to create their own challenges for themselves to grow, but they're going to be different. And I think it's just going to be so fun to watch.
I love hearing about how you are just such a yes for your son's sensitivity and supporting the language around it and different ways of expressing. And I too have a sensitive boy, and he'll say things like, I'm not a typical alpha male. I have a feminine side. And he has the language for it because they're standing on our shoulders. And it's not only okay, it's like he knows it's healthy and beautiful. Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's so neat that they're this generation, I feel like, is getting to transcend a lot of the pieces that we were working on. And even I'm so grateful, Kaisa here she's up at the top of my screen. That's my mom. And she has been doing her work and her spiritual work for many, many years. And as she does her work, it ripples down to us kids. And as I do my work, it ripples down to my kids. And I really do feel and for everyone who doesn't have kids or does, remember, it's not linear just for the family line. Like the generations can feel it when we do the work as well. And it's so exciting to see my kids not even having it's not even a thought that things that was worrying for me. My son, he's got hair longer than I have, beautiful, thick, long blonde hair, and he loves it. And when he goes into a washroom, he'll often, not normally from the adult men, but from the younger males in the washroom, he'll get, oh, this is the boys' washroom. There's no girls allowed. And I've checked in with him from time to time. I don't want to just be projecting I love his hair, but I don't want him to suffer because I love it. And I said, we can cut it if you want. He says, it doesn't bother me. I like being different. And I like actually getting to challenge people on that. And it actually makes me feel unique and special. And so it's like, for me, it would have brought me so much anxiety as a kid. And I just love that that's not even a thing. He's actually proud to be challenging the status quo, and not in an aggressive way, not in a fighting way, but just getting to show up as who he is. So thank you for bringing those pieces, Eden, to the next generation as well. And I'm so excited to hear that bringing it into the media and music. And I've been talking to people about video games for kids that have more of that conscious messaging as well. And it's so exciting.
One of the ideas, it's still in its little seed form, is after years of working with these powerful feminine archetypes, because our culture has been so robbed of that. When you think about the divine, we've been, the Judeo-Christian model is just so masculine. So for me, coming from yoga first, where we're honoring the Divine Mother more in the East, and then the mystery school, I was dreaming into how many wonderful ways to share these archetypes with children through books, through little action figures of all sizes and ages and colors, and that the goddess is in all forms, all the ways that she shows up as that, gentle goddess of compassion archetype, or that fierce, like lady of communion that's one with nature and protectress of the lands. And like, just the possibilities are limitless for the children that are coming now to have much more balanced narratives of power, like true power as empowerment and love. And, these false stories of power in the kind of more toxic patriarchal sense are really, it's so obvious that they're crumbling and being replaced by, like, your son already knows. He's like, there's no need to even fight. There's no need to push against. It's like he's relaxed. Like, true power is that inner resting. So awesome.
I so love what you said about like media and bringing this energy to more of a mainstream audience through music and media and all those things. And for me, I've always felt kind of that this lifetime for me is like a bridge lifetime. I really get my friends who are like hardcore plant medicine, like journeying and astral projecting, and like I get it and I fully love it, but I don't experience it, and I feel like it's not my journey this lifetime to really do too much of that, like external, whatever
Exploration.
that is, exploration. And I've kind of like, I've worn it as like a little bit of like a fun blanket where I'm like, ooh, I get to like stay up on, you know, the pop songs and watch all the movies, because I really want to be connected to pop culture, to the mainstream, because I really want to be that, help to be that bridge. And that's really what Unite's mission is as well, is to be that bridge. And yeah, there's a story I love that is, in the past, it's, you know, I don't know if this is true, but imagine like a tribe of people, and living with the land, and in that tribe there's the medicine people, the shamans, the spiritual healers. And over time those people became shunned, and the power and importance of their work was forgotten, and they even became demonized and hunted and hurt and killed and all these terrible things. And so they kind of left the village and just went and did their own thing. And when you were talking about, you know, mainstream, I was thinking like, it's so, I love talking to people like you, as well as people who are, you know, let's build dominators all over, and like, you know, I love that too. I want both of it. But it's almost like these shamans and healers created these, you know, Ewok villages and tree forts, and just created a whole world together. And that's sometimes like our spiritual conscious communities can be very insular, and like we have our own gatherings, we connect with each other, and it's great. And I feel like there's like, financially it's a funny thing where sometimes there's not enough to like make each one of those people be able to sustain themselves financially by just trading within. And it makes me think like the purpose of the shaman is to be in the village with the people, with the mainstream. And there's this, you know, the bread doesn't rise if all the yeast is in one place, it has to be distributed. And so I really love that idea of becoming more comfortable and you know, transcending those fear beliefs of being persecuted or different or whatever, and feeling safe and comfortable for these people who are really guided to be healers or just pure transmission vehicles by just being. And yeah, I just love that. So thanks for being you. I'm super excited to get to know you better.
A wave. We're on the forefront of this really big wave, and you can think of it in terms of like 35, 40 years ago, yoga was pretty counterculture. Yoga was kind of like weird stuff. I mean, my mom got me into it really, really early, but none of my friends were interested or knew about it. It was really weird. And now it's like everyone knows about this. So when we start seeding these new narratives into the collective, it's going to become more common, and it's just the wave building now. It's happening.
Is there a specific ask or offer that you can put into the field that we can maybe collaborate with as a collective, or that you just want to put out there that we can envision and support you in?
Oh, that's so sweet of you. Yes. So for the Unite fans and tribe and people that hear this, if you do visit my site, there's a really fun and easy way just to become part of my community and to find out a lot about you, and it doesn't cost any money. And it's this beautiful quiz I created that's discovering how you love, that lover that's not just the romantic love, but the beloved in you, the archetype of the beloved that is the awakened heart. So my ask is that you take the quiz and find out and enjoy that. And then I can keep you posted for the next wonderful thing that I'm going to do. I'm right at the end of a cycle of a big training I'm completing, and I'm going to give myself time to nourish and nurture my creativity after this. I will be taking a few one-on-one clients during the interim before my next big deep dive training, and I'll just keep people posted for that. So maybe you can pop the website in the chat. It's just EdenAmadora.com, so you all can take the quiz right away, or not while we're all talking, but maybe after.
Yeah. I love it. And one more question.
While I'm talking, it's okay.
Yeah. One more fun question. If you had unlimited funds, access to as much as you could possibly ever need for anything, what is the first thing? What would you focus all your energy and attention on? What would you want to create?
Oh my God, there's so many things that come like right away that are kind of different. So one thing that I'm passionate about, if I had unlimited funds, I would want to, it's hard to choose between these two. One has everything to do with frequency. Frequency is so fascinating to me. It's like, have you heard of scalar frequencies? Like when we talk about the peace tribe, there's a very specific frequency that is literally like a very high frequency that's going up towards enlightenment, that's peace. And I would love research into mass entrainments, into really high frequency fields for the awakening of the collective heart of humanity, that we can either through sound, through shared breath, sound experience, through some positive use of technology, really entrain and maintain a much higher frequency on the planet. So if there's any philanthropic, multimillionaire, billionaires tuning in, we're listening to this ask. We're asking for the scientists, we're asking for the musicians, we're asking for the great creative minds to come together and help us lift our frequency here. Because, you know, they've done research about even meditating together in large groups.
Yeah.
And how it shifts the hologenetic field of the whole in the city that it's done in. And there's no violent crime during those days of group meditation fields. So what if we filled stadiums? What if we filled Madison Square Gardens with epic sound, light, frequency events that are totally not even needing any external plant medicine, anything? It's like the ecstasy of truly being in your heart, the ecstasy of being so alive and moving the energy together as a collective. This is what excites me.
I love it so much. Definitely part of our big vision as well. And I heard do you know Bashar?
Yes,
I've heard of course. And he said someone was saying like, oh, when can I see you? I want to see you. And Bashar said, well, if you saw us, you might run away screaming with all of your fears that haven't been processed. Because when you raise frequency that quickly to something that's totally new, you get all that stuff comes up. And so it's, as you're talking, I'm like, yeah, that's the best ever. And having the structure in place for people to learn how to step by step, and it's happening organically. But it's both. It's so, I love it. I'm in 100%. We have a big vision for like stadiums and all that stuff too.
The work that I've been doing for years is all about raising frequency in that process of really deep initiatory ceremonial containers, totally plant medicine free, just the ceremony of archetypal energy. And as you raise your frequency, you will feel discomfort, like you're saying, because the old too tight skins and small stories and unworthiness and shame will leave the body like a detox. You will feel it leaving. And that blessed growth edge that sometimes is like getting well in the plant medicine ceremony. You need to let it go.
Thank you, Scott, for being such a beautiful space keeper. Sorry, I just want to keep one more little bit. I've been really diving deep into that process. My dad passed away when I was 15, and my mom became very depressed. And she was a PhD psychologist, had all the money, resources, connections, all that stuff, and all the mainstream didn't help her. And she found this alternative therapy called The Journey, where she went in and healed this really old past trauma, and within a few sessions had felt back to her normal self after 5 years of like hardcore depression. And for me, seeing that as a 17 to 20-year-old kid, I was like, wow, this is so like that's different. I want to learn more about that. And so I've really dove deep into like Abraham Hicks and all these different types of ways to align. And what I found recently that's really been a breakthrough is the more that I can kind of like Abraham Hicks style, just find my highest frequency and do anything that will get me to that place, whether it's meditation or whatever. And if I can kind of avoid the tricky subjects and the triggers and the things while I'm raising, then when I get to that place and I'm really flying high, I'll be guided to move my body and breath in a way that releases some of that stuff organically, but without actually having to dive into it, which I used to believe I had to like go and clear all my stuff and fix it and heal it myself. And that just kind of perpetuated more of it. So that's been really, really fascinating. So I love what you're saying. I want to do an event together.
Yeah, right.
Let's co-create some magic in California.
So fun.
Yeah. And you too, Scott, please, if Eden, if that feels complete.
Yeah, such
Anything
a
else?
joy. Pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you for being here. When do you have to go?
I have another good half hour. I can be with you. I'm happy to. Yeah.
Yay.
Amazing. Well, Scott, why don't you take it away, or if you have other ideas?
Sure. Well, I love promoting people that I believe in. So since we just heard from Eden, I'm going to screen share. I'm glad that I got screen sharing. This is right. And so you go there and boom, there's the quiz. And the quiz is really, really fun. I've taken it twice, actually. And I want to just do a quick shout out that I have, people that I respect who have studied with Eden, and they've gotten so much out of it. And what I really appreciate about Eden is that it's rare to meet someone that multi-talented, that beautiful, physically beautiful, that spiritually beautiful, and that humble. She has a very sweet humility that she's been able to, I don't know if she cultivated it or sustained it, but at least the Eden that I've been hanging out with for the last few years is very humble and truly, genuinely cares about her clients, the people that she's of service to. And that's, it's an amazing thing, because she's also this incredibly multi-talented person who could be a rock star or be a famous author or be this or that or the other thing, and already has been a rock star and already has been a supermodel. But she chose, over staying with supermodeling, to focus on her children and to be a good mother. And so she made very humble choices in her life that I just really honor and respect. And so as a result, people who come and work with her get like the high vibe, but also in a very grounded human way.
Beautiful.
Love it. This is the Love Eden show. I support this. That's awesome.
Aw.
Well, all right, I guess I'll share a little bit about my story.
Please.
So it literally starts with, my mother was very Christian. She loved Jesus. And she was a very simple woman. My mom was very simple. And she really only had one goal in life, which was to be a mother. And she especially wanted to be a mother of a son. She always wanted to have a son. Well, life gave her two daughters, but no sons. And when she was 38, which back in those days, that was getting old for having children, she had a dream, and Jesus came to her and told her she was going to have a baby boy, and he was going to be born on Christmas Day. Sure enough, I was born on Christmas Day.
Wow.
And although I was raised in the Christian tradition, I don't relate very much to it as an adult, but I literally did grow up with a Messiah complex. I literally thought it was up to me to save the world. And it was on both levels. I was like the Messiah to my mother and father, right? I was the promised child in their family constellation. But then there also was, like Eden and probably both of you and most people watching, that part of me that knew, like, this is it. Like this, I'm here with a mission, right? And for the first 10 years of my life, I literally thought the mission was to save the world. And by the time I was 10 years old, I was freaking out, because I was old enough to realize how big the world was, to begin to realize how big the world was and how little I was. And on my 10th birthday, I went out into my backyard, and I was always a very spiritual little kid. And I was like praying, God, I can't do it. I don't know what to do. And I saw a being, which it wasn't until 6 or 7 years later I realized that being was Paramahansa Yogananda. But I had no idea at the time. It was just this beautiful Indian man with long dark hair who came, and I don't remember anything other than he came and my dog was with me. I can picture exactly where I was in the backyard, and it lifted. In that moment, it lifted. And the desire to contribute has never left. I've still got it at this age. But the sense of it's up to me by myself to do it shifted. And it was like, I got it. Oh, this time there's no one Messiah. It's up to all of us. We all have to play our part. We all have to play our role. But I was still quite a type A personality little kid. So I had my first full-time job at 12 and was out of the house and self-supporting at 16 and started the theater company, and it was very successful at an early age. And so I was doing conscious media in Los Angeles for a long, long time. For the first 15 years of my adult career, I was doing programming for teenagers. And then I shifted into doing television shows of a metaphysical nature. And I produced over 100 original, I became what's called a segment producer for news magazine shows. And I became kind of the guy that if you were doing, you needed a segment on UFOs or crop circles or near-death experiences, you call that guy Scott Catamas. He knows all those people. And so I did that for several years and produced a lot of nationally broadcast television, which was, of course, conscious media. And was especially involved in the UFO field. And since you mentioned Daryl Anka, Bashar, I've known Daryl well over 40 years.
We're having Alan Steinfeld on next week.
Okay, well now Alan was the assistant director. I made a movie. I only made one movie in my life. And Alan was the assistant director on that movie, which I made in 1989. And Alan works with me all the time. We collaborate. We're doing a show together on January 28th. So he's, we're all one big family finding each other.
So funny.
Tonight you guys got to discover Eden Amadora. We're all finding each other,
Yes.
And that's really why when I began to realize what was happening, I called it Global Peace Tribe. It was like, okay, what do we all have in common? We are a tribe. We are global. And what's the one unifying thing? I mean, you could either say love or peace. So here we are, we're all finding each other. And
Global Love Tribe sounds more like a, like a little bit of orgy-esque. So Peace Tribe, it's like that,
but that's exactly why I didn't call it Global Love. Also, Global Love Tribe wasn't available, and Global Peace Tribe amazingly was available as a URL. But yeah, it's true, and we all use it, but it's such a beautiful analogy, and that is the old paradigm as the caterpillar. And caterpillars are voracious. They have a voracious appetite. They are not environmentally sensitive. And they eat so much, they become so gluttonous that they literally die from their own gluttony. And of course, as they die, they create the cocoon. And then as the caterpillar dies, it turns into this goo. And within the goo, there's something called imaginal cells that find each other. And if enough imaginal cells find each other and come together, a butterfly is born, a butterfly is created. And that's who we all are. All, Karen Eisenberg and Mary Beth and Kiki and Bobby and, Leaf and Omashar and Maureen and all the people that I see here are all imaginal cells in this great global peace tribe, which is thousands and thousands and millions of people. And not everybody has to know about the global peace tribe or the shows that we do. So it also looks like our hosts, Shine and Crystal, are frozen on my end. I don't know if something happened, but it appears the Zoom room is still happening. I still see Eden and Omashar moving around. So, yeah,
keep on going, and they'll come back
Absolutely.
in. Yeah. Let's see. It looks like the people that didn't join through Zoom might be frozen because is it Kaja, the mom of Crystal, is frozen too.
Right. I think you're right. I think the people that came into the Zoom room like Maureen and Bobby and Omashar are happening.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
um,
Tech wobbles. It's been super stormy, so I don't know if that affects some of the tech connectivity.
yeah, it could be. They're up in Oregon. Well, gosh, let's open it up to our global peace tribers that are here. Hello, Maureen. Hello, Omashar. Hello, Bobby.
Hi there, how are you going? Beautiful day. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Loving your
Yeah, that's
background.
cool.
I
won't freeze.
if I show it over to Omashar to start playing music, that's what I'm so
Well,
used
I
to.
can if you like. But I was just retuning into Unite.love to see if the whole platform was down. And yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll text them on Messenger and see.
Maureen just put in the chat that she had her screen going off and on, and she's up there as a neighbor to Shine and Crystal in the same area. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see if they come back, and if not, we'll make it a quicker show. Hey, a reminder, if you enjoyed what you've heard so far, Eden and I are doing the show together this Saturday night, the Next Awakening World Show, Saturday night. And we had dinner together last week, and we talked about, okay, what do we want to do? And we decided, wow, how can we really talk about and explore embodiment? And we want to bring our divinity down into the body while recognizing and honoring the sacred polarity of the who shows up as a male being, who shows up as a female being.
Little feedback happening now, Scott.
Yeah, I'm guessing that might be Shine and Crystal trying to come back on.
Yeah, Unite.love is still broadcasting, so we are still live.
Oh, that's great. I wish we could see and hear them. But...
Yeah.
Well, we'll wing it.
We're winging away. So yes, join us on Saturday night for anybody who hasn't joined Global Peace Tribe. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com and register. And you're going to get the links to all of our shows for the next 3 months. We do 3 or 4 shows every week. Omashar is always there playing music. Maureen was one of our wonderful people that was on our show last week. We did a show on Saturday night with all these wonderful healers. Maureen led a beautiful experience. So thank you for that, Maureen. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, I'm excited about our show. I'm excited about the David Permal and Mitten portion. That's really special. And this conversation about coming into really honoring the divine masculine and feminine within all of us, and honoring polarity in the dance of other, apparent other, in form. And we did a video together that just went like viral about this subject. And it was such a juicy conversation. So I look forward to all the participants, the guests, the speakers, kind of touching into that energy again and seeing where we are now with that conversation.
Yeah, it's and we've got some wonderful people joining us. I've invited some of my favorite relationship coaches, some of you know that I was married and my wife passed away, and her best friend, Ragio, is going to join us. And Ragio is an amazing teacher. There they are, showing up in a different Zoom room.
Our internet just completely shut down for 5 minutes, and now we're back.
Okay.
Welcome back, and it's so good to see you with your mom.
The universe wanted us to do something. Here we are.
That's beautiful.
That's so sweet. So mom's in the same house in a different room?
Yeah. We have a big, beautiful house in White Rock, BC, right by the border, overlooking the water, next to Maureen.
Oh yeah, Maureen, you're right there, up near there too.
Same little town, yeah.
Oh wow. Well, I am. If the weather is good, I am going to take a drive up, be with you on the 16th.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
Be with my Relation Flicks people on their weekend. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, hopefully.
And Eden, you have an open invitation as well. We're having a big event on the 16th, and it's in Vancouver, and it's going to be lovely.
The 16th of January, just coming up.
February.
February.
Okay, I will tune in and see what's going on. Thank you.
So what did you guys talk about while we were gone? where are we got now? What are we doing?
We talked a little bit about this Saturday night show that
fun.
Eden and I are going to be co-hosting, all about relationship and really all about embodying our divinity while honoring the polarity of masculine and feminine, both within ourselves and with each other. And it's a topic that, you know, Eden and I really enjoy tackling. As she said, we did a show that went viral, got a tremendous, like hundreds of thousands of views. So it seems to be a topic that people are interested in and that we enjoy conversing about.
We have so much to learn from your expertise with media and, you know, broadcasting and everything. I'm super excited to learn. When we were building Unite, we were hearing from it was right around the time when that documentary came out about the social
The social network.
No, it was like the
Social dilemma, I think.
The
Social
social dilemma.
yeah. So everyone was like, where's the new Facebook? I want to get on a new social platform. So we're like, okay, we'll build that first. We had this bigger vision. We're like, okay, we'll start with that. And we built it and quickly realized that no one cared unless all of their friends were already on there. So we're like, okay, that's not the right thing to start with. And then we kind of built in some other bits and realized the same. And then just during a brainstorming session, we thought, oh, well, what if it was actually one of your guys's events, I think. And we saw it being streamed through Unify.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, oh, this is so great. You know, Unify has this platform and there's, you know, a couple million people on it. And so they get this reach when they stream through those platforms. And that's so cool. You don't necessarily have to have your own following. You can just go live and people are there. And what an amazing concept. And so we began thinking like, well, wouldn't it be cool to build a platform where people could go live, we could have different channels, and there could be the yoga channel and the Peace Tribe channel and all these different channels. And if it could get big like Facebook and there was enough people on there, then anyone could go live in any of these channels and have an audience already there and just be able to go on and people could join in. And so we began this vision of the love stream, which is the kind of beta that we're in right now. It's kind of like Clubhouse, but it's focused more on well-being and shows like this. And so we're just kind of testing it, and we're the only show on it right now, the Unite show, and obviously, you know, still testing and figuring out all the technical stuff, but we want to get other people hosting their shows and co-create and collaborate. So that's one of the next projects.
One thing, just want to make sure you see this. Apparently, the people that are watching on Zoom can hear fine, but the people that were coming through the Unite platform, the audio was a problem.
So I'm going to put the Zoom link in again if people, yes, Maureen, if people can join the Zoom, that'd be great. And
can you turn the back?
I'll also put it I'll put it right at the top of the love feed in Unite. I'll put a post with the Zoom link. So because someone was saying the chat wasn't working in Zoom. So if you go to unite.love, the first post is the Zoom link. That's where you can join.
Okay. Hello.
Hey, Fanny. Fanny's also in White Rock.
Fanny, yay. And thank you, Marina. I'm seeing now all your messages. So thank you. And yeah, Fanny is also on White Rock, yeah?
Yeah.
Great, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, what a cool community that must be. Now I really got to come visit.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the Raj are in White Rock. I'm in South Surrey. The Warrior Sages. What's their name? The Raj people.
Sachin and Suzanne.
and Suzanne,
yeah. They're very
I thought they were in Langford.
They're in Langley, yeah.
It's like 10-minute drive.
Okay.
It's 5-minute drive.
Nearby.
Oh, that's right, because I've stayed with them. Sachin and Suzanne are dear friends of mine.
Yeah, lovely.
You know them, Eden. I think you've been on a show with them, actually, with me. Sachin and Suzanne Raja.
Yeah, we've been to a few of their celebrations. We're like a family, yes.
Well, if the weather is good, I will be coming up and seeing you. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Beautiful. Is your mic clicking a little bit, or it's just my mic? I hear there's a weird sound. Is everybody okay with their sounds?
I'm here. Good here.
Yeah, our sound is good.
Yeah,
Is my sound okay?
your
Yep.
sound is great.
Okay, so every time you talk, Scott, there's a glitch. So maybe it's my internet. I have some really weird internet. I'm in the woods here, like a huge property, and it's a huge wood. So it's very glitchy.
You're perfect on our end.
Oh,
And
thank you.
if it's tricky, Shine shared in the chat the different Zoom links. You can try leaving and coming in on that and see if your audio is better.
Oh, that sounds better. Okay.
And
What is that link?
Eden, we have you for only another few minutes, right?
Yes.
Is there anything that you want to touch on before you go?
I feel a lot of gratitude for you two, for Shine and Crystal, for your vision, for this bigger web of light that you're weaving. And just when you spoke about your original intention, I can feel how we're all building it together. We're building the pieces. And yeah, just thank you so much for what you're doing. And I definitely look forward to dropping in again and connecting again. Listening to the weave of the golden threads and what we're here to co-create. And maybe it's a live event one day, maybe it's something with frequency uplifting and
Lots of fun things.
I'm just feeling a lot of gratitude to Scott and his just magnanimous, gracious heart. And the way that you've just been such a huge ally. There's a word that came into my awareness. I'd heard it kind of whispered over the years, and it's really strong with me now. It's a Celtic or Gaelic word called Anam Cara. And the meaning of Anam Cara is a soul friend. It's very sweet. It's like a person that you awaken with through the consciousness of your conversations, the depth of your hearts being reflected with one another, and the deep trust that you build. And I feel that with you, Scott. I feel that deep soul friend, and how you're that pillar in the community for so many to bring that heart and that compassion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
That's a beautiful word. Definitely, as I mentioned, I'd love for you to share that with, not necessarily about Scott being that, but
Yeah. There's a really beautiful piece. I'm in my own, I can't speak as like profoundly about it, but John O'Donoghue, the Irish poet, wrote such an exquisite piece on the Anam Cara, and I could read a few lines of that just for us as this global peace tribe, just to feel it, just to feel the essence of what that is for you. And you'll know as you listen who are your Anam Cara. Like you'll really feel that in your remembrance or your resonance. So Anam is the Gaelic word for soul, and Cara is the word for friend. So this together, like I said, becomes soul friend. In early Celtic spiritual traditions, a person who acted as a guide, a companion, or a spiritual teacher was considered an Anam Cara. And it originally refers to someone with whom you could share the most intimate vulnerabilities and your heart's truth with. You could share your innermost self, and thus this friendship was an act of deep soul recognition and belonging. When you had an Anam Cara, your friendship cut across all convention and all categories. You were joined in an ancient, eternal way with the friend of your soul. There is no cage for the soul. The soul is a divine light that flows into you and into your other. There's no limitation of time or space on this friendship. This art of belonging awakens and fosters a deep, special companionship. In this kind of love, you are understood as you are without masks or pretension. And the superficial, the functional lies and half-truths of society and superficial acquaintance falls away. You can truly be yourself. This love allows such a deep understanding to dawn. And that understanding is so precious. You feel at home and nourished and belonging. When you really feel understood, you feel free to release yourself into the trust and shelter of the other person's soul. And this art of love discloses such a special sacred identity it's as if your light can be read, that secret signature of your individuality is recognized. So it goes on and on. It's a bit long, but I think we're getting this feeling, right? It's so
Beautiful.
profound. So you can look that word up, ANAM, and then a space CARA, Anam Cara, writing by John O'Donohue. It's just it's like the new narratives, right? We've been fed this kind of, mainstream pop culture idea of love that's either super idealized, like there's only one, and then it's like, if you lose them, and really it's so different than that. It's so vast.
Yeah.
We're all awakening to this soul love.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. I feel very much like what Scott was sharing. I came in with such a strong knowing of wanting to change, and I had almost like the same kind of crisis of like, oh my God, I'm so little and there's so much to do. And for me, there's just such a, like, I feel that like soul, like happy, soothing peace when I connect with other people. And so many of the words even you've used is the way I describe like my calling for, like, I feel like a really fun combination of both of what Eden and Scott, you guys have shared. I'm like, yep. And it's like the same words that I use when I'm talking to people. And it's such a funny, oh yeah, I just like, oh, it's like that piece of like, there's a piece of my soul walking outside doing other, like, I don't need to worry about doing it all because Eden's carrying this piece and Scott's carrying this piece, and together we're going to, I don't have to be, I felt like I had to be the expert at everything, and I had to learn all this stuff to be able to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. And every time I meet someone, I'm like, oh, they're carrying that piece too. Oh, they're carrying that piece too. And it just, I feel like together, like, it's not like your piece plus my piece equals two pieces. It's like our pieces come together and it's like a million extra new ones are made. And yeah, it just feels so good.
Stated. I love that. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Like, and that's the exponential piece. That's the piece whenever we feel like there's not enough time or money or whatever, when like those resonant pieces come together, we create such an exponential piece. Then it's like, oh, there is like an abundance. We can so do this together. So
That's beautiful. One thing that I want to mention too, this is just my perspective, but it's wonderful for us to be, and I'm super dedicated, and I'm super still very focused on, my work, my service, my clients. But it's also important sometimes to periodically remember that it's a cosmic dream, and that none of it's real. Right?
Yeah.
None of it's real. It is this incredible cosmic dream, and to keep asking, am I enjoying my dream? Am I enjoying it? And if I'm enjoying it and I'm enjoying whatever I'm focused on, great. But sometimes people get so caught up in the seriousness of it that they become self-righteous. And self-righteousness is probably caused more death and suffering than anything. And so it's really important in our absolute zeal to make the world a better place and to wake up and are we enjoying our lives?
right.
How are we treating the people? How are we treating our family? Right? How is our family treating us?
Yeah.
And that's why I go back and forth between kind of Big Scott that does the entrepreneurial thing with Global Peace Tribe and Scott that coaches families, because I have no influence over Putin. I have no influence over Trump or Biden, but I do have influence over the people that I talk to, my family, my friends, my clients. So let's make sure that in our zeal to make the world a better place, we are focusing on our immediate relationships first and foremost.
Yes.
And enjoy the cosmic dream.
I think my parting little like I just am so lit up. Thank you so much. And for those of you that have found my site, I just put a media page on my site. It's a brand new page. I don't know if Scott, if you have the ability to go there.
Yeah.
There's a
I'm there.
particular if you go under, I think, About Eden, Media, and then in there you can hear, if you scroll down, there's lots of podcasts I've done before, but under this is some music that I'm like, I need to incorporate the music.
Oh, nice.
So on both Spotify and iTunes, there's an album called Dream Awake. And Scott, your share, I was like, I have to mention Dream Awake because there's songs on the Dream Awake album, especially the song Dream Awake. There's a song called Muse that actually talks about just living in this waking dream. If you click the album below, the whole icon of I don't know why they only
it just says see more.
Yeah, if you click see more, see at the bottom, your cursor is right under number 5. There's a little see more.
Oh, right. Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
So Muse is
Muse.
yeah, that's the one that you got to sign up. So anyway, for those who are interested, Scott's share just pinged me. I'm like, Dream Awake. Yeah, this song is so perfect for that.
Absolutely. Let's play it. We should. Do you have a video version of it?
You know, I didn't make a music video, but on YouTube there are just a still of the album cover and the music streaming. So
I wonder if I can do it here.
Videos to do eventually.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Share.
What's it called?
Dream Awake.
Muse.
Dream Awake.
Yeah, song. Yeah. The hook is here, now, now. All things are possible in love.
Oh, maybe it's him.
Dorina from Ecuador just put a quote in that's along the lines of what we're talking about. She wrote, this is a quote from Tagore: I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted and behold, service was joy. That's a good one. That's a really good one, Dorina. Thank you.
Turn up the screen share.
All right, should we play?
Yeah.
You
Okay,
can
here we go.
just a moment of it. Oh, we don't hear it. I think it's just on your side.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Well, we can hear it.
Okay, well, enjoy, and other people can check it out later.
I don't know how that works. That's so funny.
You said it was on Spotify. What's the other one that it's on?
It's on SoundCloud. It's on iTunes.
It's on YouTube too?
Yeah, YouTube.
Let me go to YouTube and see if I can get it that way.
You'd probably look under Amadora Dream Awake.
Amadora, okay.
Amadora. Let's see what comes up.
Here it is. Got it.
Oh, there's that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see if this works.
It's a different song, but it's fun to see. It's fun to see this too.
Hang on, I gotta just go back and share sound.
I think
we
we
have
could,
to share sound.
Yeah.
I know.
Love. Only love. Love. Only love.
There she is.
We have received the transmission. Heard the mythic call. We have come across the vast sea in service to true love. We have come to transmit a frequency of unconditional love. We raise the planetary vibration, high frequency magnetic coherency attractors. We resound, sound the sacred sound, remembrance brings the light down to open the portal, heaven on earth. Open, 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 open. Awaken each and every heart. awaken. Soul stars, awaken. And remember who you truly are. Only love. The awakening has begun through the emissaries of divine love. The awakening has begun. The portal is open.
So lovely.
Aw, thank you so
That is, I want us to open the show on Saturday night with that video.
That's epic.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's open the show with that.
kind of froze on my side, but I could still hear
I could
it.
hear it too. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you all so much. I'm so
good.
so grateful to be with you tonight, and just so much love to everybody who's tuning in even later. Just so glad we're all kind of weaving in this way, and I look forward to more. So much more.
Mhm.
Bye, Shine.
Nice meeting
Goodbye.
you. Mwah. We'll talk soon.
So
Thank you,
lovely to
Scott.
meet you
See you
tonight.
Saturday.
Eden, before you go, we had Deodova out here, and we did a cruise
Harbor
in the
cruise.
harbor and had like 200 or 300 people dancing on this boat, and she was going for it. It was the best ever.
Hamilton, yeah, we've performed on the same stages with the
That's so
Feminine
nice.
Medicine Music Project.
Yeah.
She's epic. Love her. Goodbye to
Goodbye.
Scott. Goodbye, Mashar, and everyone here. Much love.
Thank you so much. Lovely to connect.
Thank you so much for coming. It was so good.
Aw.
Ah, what a night. This is fun.
By the way, an interesting thing, the reason that it didn't play so well was I hadn't embedded it into my computer. So whenever I know I'm going to show a video, what you do is you grab it off YouTube. If I had known we were going to do it, I would have then, I have a little program that turns
Download it.
into an MP4, right?
Yeah, got it.
Download it, embed it into the computer, and then it plays much better.
And then you have to, so you don't just share your screen, you share sound too. It's all these things. It's crazy.
Yeah. Make sure you share sound. And really, if you go to advanced settings, I just did it quick and easy on basic, but if you go to advanced settings, and then if it's embedded in your computer, then you can play it. And that way, anything you're doing, like as it's playing, if you're, doing anything, it doesn't get in the way. You don't see a toolbar, or you don't see those little gray boxes.
So beautiful to have you here, everyone. So appreciate you. Here, hold on. There we go. Anything you wanna touch on, Scott? I want to open it up to the community who's here as well to share, ask questions. But before we do, what do you wanna?
Yeah, and I need to wrap up fairly soon too. I
Okay.
got to get dinner and I have a client at 8:30.
Mhm.
So yeah, if anybody has any thoughts or questions, happy to respond.
Yeah, great.
Mhm.
You can either unmute and ask or put your hand up and we'll call on you.
Oh
my dog is
Oh, rascal.
oh, okay. I need the daddy time.
What a sweetheart.
Aw.
I'll take one.
Yeah, she's my girl.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So sweet.
We'll come say hi when we come down that way.
It was funny when we said, does anybody have any questions? She came over and she gave me the little cry, the little, hey, I'm ready to come on. I'm
I have
ready
a
to come
question.
onto your lap. Yeah.
Where's my love?
Yeah, it's called Put Me on Camera.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Oh, she's definitely in kissing mode. Okay.
What a
Girl.
sweetie.
Good girl.
so
Lovely.
sweet. Aw. So good. Well,
Well, there aren't, and there is, Dorina asks, thanks, Scott, what is the name of that app? I have a similar one, but just for MP3 audio, and I'd like to do with MP4. It is called, hold on a second, let me open my launch pad. It is called 4K Video Downloader. 4K Video Downloader. And I think I pay like $50 a year for it. There is a price, but it's not expensive.
I also just Google YouTube video downloader, and the first link, I'll just put the URL in and it's free.
Oh, great. Well,
Yeah.
there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So say that again. So Joanna picks it up.
Google, what did you say? You
Are
Google.
you talking to me or Dorina?
You.
Um,
What you just said?
So I'll Google YouTube video downloader, and then the first link that comes up usually is I click it. It has a little place where you can enter the URL of the YouTube video, and then you can download it, and it's super simple and free.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Dorina is asking, what do you see as the best coming for conscious media?
Ooh.
Well, I think eventually we're going to all be able to put on these little, virtual reality masks and systems, and we're all going to plug into some advanced form of the internet. And I'm going to be able to hit baseballs, and I'm going to be able to, do all the things. I'm going to be able to be King Arthur, fighting Mordred or whatever fantasies I have. I think that's going to happen now. Like television or most media, it'll be primarily used for entertainment and probably for pornography or for sexual satisfaction.
Yeah.
But there will also be the opportunity for us to use that to really access higher consciousness, to access the states of higher consciousness. And so, you'll have a choice. Do you want to, go hit baseballs? Do you want to go have sex with Marilyn Monroe, or do you want to become Buddha? And I don't even judge any of those. They're all, wonderful fantasies, or they're all wonderful experiences, not even a fantasy. But I think conscious media, we will be able to ultimately get to the point where any of us can experience anything. And then in some moment, either a gradual evolution or a holy moment, we will all really realize that we all are one consciousness experiencing itself in an infinite number of ways. And I think conscious media will be a big part of that awakening.
Yeah.
I love the vision for that kind of 3D immersive world. And as I was learning about it, I learned that they actually film 3D stuff and these kind of globe cameras that film 360 degrees almost at once, and that you can actually right now you can project those into domes and have group 3D experiences where you can feel immersed in this world, but not have to wear the glasses and just kind of. And we ran this show at the Vancouver Planetarium amazing Ari Laser and Theta Phoenix and Matthew Cosell. We had sound healers, and Ari put together this dome show with sacred geometry and pyramids, and he told these stories and about the universe and sacred geometry and the wisdom of all that stuff, and it was amazing, and people just loved it. And I see things like that becoming like communal, uplifting, elevating media that we always had lots of time before and after. We had vendors, like 25 vendors, all of our amazing healers and you know, goods and services and things, soaps and food and whatever, and people would come, and it would be like a 6-7 hour event, and the actual show was only an hour and a half, and so people would be hanging out and making friends, and it was just such a lovely thing. So I feel like media is going to go really deep into you can be by yourself in your room and do that, and there's going to be a lot of fun, immersive, communal things that are going to be really exciting.
Absolutely, I agree. I totally agree.
Yay.
And Bonita asked about our event. Yeah, I'll share the link in there, and it's February 16th. It's a beautiful full day from 8 a.m. till 11 p.m. We're having all sorts of different fun experiences, somatic movement therapy. I'm teaching my flow state process based on Abraham Hicks principles of guided meditation and alignment. We've got ecstatic dance, we've got breathwork, cacao ceremony, sound healing, speed healing, where you have these like short 10-minute sessions with a bunch of different healers, and everyone's in a group in the room, like an open room, all healing simultaneously, and the vortex gets going, and it's really, really fun and high vibe. And a few other things. It's like packed, you know, full day. So really, really fun.
Yeah, that really is, in-person events really is our background, and what Shine and I did for 4.5 years straight
Up
till COVID, and we were able to be fully sustaining our lifestyle that way and supporting people in the community, and that was really our full-time. I think we did a couple hundred events in about 4 years, and everything from big theater, 400 people theaters, to the Harbor Cruise and the planetarium, and
we even did one
plant dome.
Yeah, there's this place it's like a biodome on top of Queen Elizabeth Park, where it's got all these tropical plants and animals, and it's warm in there year round, and you can fit a few hundred people in there. And so we had this technology that you could hear the sounds that
singing plants
made. So you get the electrical impulses off the plants and translate that into music. And so but you can also do it in humans.
Group.
And so if you hold hands as a group and you have this device, you actually hear the like you hear the music of the energy of the humans. And if you meditate, you can get that at first when you put it on, it's like ding 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 ding, like crazy, just random and chaotic. And then as you meditate and you start to follow the breath, it's like, okay, everyone breathe in, and then it's like ding ding ding, breathe out, ding ding ding, and we did that for a while, and then someone knocks on the door and you hear like ding dong ding dong, like people's energy. So it was very magical to hear your meditative practice rather than just feel it inside. And it was really well. And so we had that going in this dome with a couple hundred people, I think, or it was pretty cool.
It was fun.
And the parents were freaking yelling at us. We had parents in there, and we were trying to meditate and be all spiritual, and the parents were literally yelling, like a person yelling at the top of their lungs, and we were just like, okay, this is part of the journey, I guess.
It was
hilarious.
People at first be like disturbed by it, and then as the group energy came down, the parents calmed down as well. So really, it was a very so COVID for us was a big stretch going into the digital and online events world. And actually we didn't do any events online until just the last year. So this is a fun new experience. And like you were saying, Scott, there's a balance between, we find we get so charged up on in person and getting to hug everyone and getting to see everybody, but we really realize that online as well, we do create a group coherence and a group synergy, and even people watching it back, they're like, wow, I watched it back and I know like it wasn't even live and I felt juiced up and I got that charge as well. So we're really so excited that, you know, even though it's not the same as in person, in a way we're able to create this group frequency over vast distances as well, which is really exciting. So I'm very excited, like you said, for that ability to do that even more as technology catches up. Where I love Ready Player One, if you haven't seen that movie, where they're all in a video game.
Yeah, I love that. That was a great film.
Yeah, and just the way they get to actually really, you know, interact together is just such a. Oh, and the other one, with though he was the non-computer generated player. Anyway, I'll look, the other name will come to me. Yeah, it's just really fun to see the way media is helping pre-pave hopefully what we're going to be able to experience and get to be a part of. So
I was just wondering, what is that device that you use to measure the frequencies of plants and people? Do you remember?
Yeah, so if you go on Unite's YouTube page, I think it's at Unite.love, like Unite.love. There's at the very beginning of it, there's 2 videos that show it. It's actually a friend of ours who is kind of like a hacker and just built it himself. But you can buy them. You just Google, you know, plant music device.
I think it's our singing plant
device, and there's a bunch of them now.
Thank you.
It's kind of like these like little things that you put on your car battery to charge, to like jump it, but you put them on tinfoil over a plant, and it transmits whatever the energy of the plant. It's really wild.
We were so impressed. For me, I believe in meditation and I believe in all this stuff, but I am a tactile, visual person, and to actually be able to hear the cohesion is just so satisfying for me. And we found, especially plants like this, we put it on actually a very similar, a peace lily like this. And when you touch the plant, it would change the frequency, of course. And if it was really quiet, like I would put it on one day, the plant would be really quiet, and then I would water it and it would be like, whoa, and get all excited.
And they like to be together. When you put them together, they talk differently.
They make like different, so different plants would make a different song, and then you put them together and then they have like a collaboration, which was really cool.
And we put it on a tree in the plant dome, and it was like these plants are more like ding.
They sound like fairies. It's
like very light and easy. And the tree was like, it
was
like
so
deep, like bass.
He had a screen so you could see the tones as well, and it was literally like a step.
Yeah,
the tones going up like 4 beats, and then it would start again, and then it would go up. And like we said, the really cool part was when it started, people want to just test themselves, and you hold it and it's all crazy. And then you get the group we would have to complete the circuit, so we'd all have to hold hands, and then it would create a group coherence, and it was very noisy. But then after the meditation, we actually would hit the plant frequency. So it's like the plant became and we were all sounding the same as the plant did, which was just super cool.
I actually find that when I was doing a lot of emotional work and getting myself into little negative spirals, which I don't recommend, but if you do end up feeling a little bit wonky, going and touching a plant or being on the ground or touching a tree, for me it was a very visceral shift. Like it kind of takes over the energetic system of the body, it feels like, and it really affected my thoughts. Like if I was really running negative thoughts and it was just really going, as soon as I touched a tree or the earth, it was hard to keep those thoughts going. Like they basically stopped unless I continued. Whereas when I was not touching it, it would kind of, I'd just be like attracting it. And so it felt like like a reset. And so, the electrical current of the earth, we even have one of these in our house. It's like a mat that you plug into the
grounding mat,
the round guy at the bottom of the plugs, the grounding plug. And it's got little like wires in it, and you can put it on your bed, or I just have it where I'm standing or sitting on it all day. and it keeps you connected to that earth grounding frequency.
Beautiful.
It's pretty
All
cool.
the fun toys.
Yeah.
I'm going to take off, guys.
Thank you, Scott.
Absolutely. I
That was
look
delightful.
to our future connections.
Yeah.
And take care, everybody. Come
January 25th.
Then Amadora and I and Omashar will be playing music on Saturday night. So please do join us, okay?
Yep.
So fun.
And
Thank
we're-
you so much for having
We're
me.
coming on your show on January 25th with all the healers from our event.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see that Wednesday.
All right, take
So
care.
exciting. Thank you so much for being here.
So fun. Yeah, loved it.
Yay. Aw, thank you, everyone.
Oh,
What-
what a night.
What a good call. So fun. We're going to stay on for a few minutes. If anyone has any, especially as there's quite a few people who don't know us and Unite, if anyone has any Unite related questions or questions about our upcoming events or upcoming love streams.
Or wants to share what you're up to, or
Yeah.
asks and offers.
Yeah, share if you have anything that you're working on that you could use support with, any business that you want to give a little shout out to. We would love to hear from you. And if not, that's okay too.
Hearts are good too.
Hearts are good too. Aw, so good. Thank you. Thank you everyone for the love. Aw, so good.
And Omashar, I think I've heard you play music on the events, right?
The Scots Global Peace Tribe, and also Fanny and Vigari, of course. The Mystiques have played many times on the Scott show. So
Yeah.
I'm currently officially the house musician. However, it doesn't mean that it's there's always 2 or 3 other musicians per show. And I think Fanny, you're playing this weekend or next weekend?
Oh, you're muted.
Okay, we can lip read.
We just heard last weekend and the weekend before. I don't think we're on this weekend, unless by magic sometimes Scott says, Fanny, are you ready? We're always ready.
Cool.
I love it.
And it's nice to get to know you both and Unite. So I've only just joined the platform. I've only just been aware of it, but I have a lot of friends in Vancouver.
Oh, great.
There's an academy there called the Radiant Rose Academy, and which is somewhere downtown Vancouver. But it's a beautiful ascension conscious group of people that meet. So
I love it. Please connect us, and if you're coming this way, let us know.
I'd love to. You know, as Scott was saying, all the imaginal cells. It's amazing. The side effect of the pandemic, let's say, is that we're getting to meet each other. And before there's thousands of groups in the world, all in their own little insular globs. And now they're going, hang on a minute, how powerful are we when we connect?
Yeah.
And so this is it. We're doing it. And so I appreciate that you putting out this invite. Thank you.
Well,
Nice.
when Scott was saying something about that, I was thinking about Abraham Hicks saying that if they had a group, because they do groups of like 1,000 people at once, and they said if they had this group of 1,000 people for a week, they could start to control weather and start to really affect world events, big things. And so when Scott was saying, I can't control Putin or I can't do this, I was thinking, well, enough of us together, I think we can.
Enough of us can together
Not control, but influence things in a big way.
Uplift the consciousness so everyone can feed off it, let's say, or can be it can be available to everybody. So that is what we are doing, and it's happening right now.
We're already doing all of this with all the great masters and avatar like Moji or all the great teachers are teaching the same. So we're all making the awareness grow and grow, and the world is changing. Totally. We are changing the world. We are the ones we were waiting for. Now we are doing it. And I think the awareness, the consciousness is rising on this planet, and it's all about love. So let's share the love. Huh?
It's happening. I feel that whenever I see your van around town.
I know.
That's like clown car, big, beautiful van with
it just brings joy. It's such a bright mobile. It's just really awesome because I secluded myself for months now, and then yesterday was the 11th of the 1st of 23, and the sun is shining after months, you know, in Vancouver. Then I go to the ocean, and then you meet all the right people, the beautiful, the aware, the conscious people, and then you share your loving, and it was really a magical day yesterday. Then I get to see you at the health food store, and it's just like yesterday it was when the sun shines, the spirit becomes more alive, I think. It's very difficult to be in Vancouver, BC, in the winter.
In the winter, we live in such a unique area that when I went traveling down the coast to Portland and California, I realized that the actual, like, the Pacific Ocean is pretty chilly until you hit like LA and San Diego. It's not warm, but up here it's protected, and so during the summer it gets warm enough where you can like swim for an hour. It's like bath water. It's at least on the top layer, and it's so lovely. And we would go out in the sun. With the sky would look like in your background, I'm sure, and it would be this like sunset, and you know it's getting dark, and we would just be out for like an hour and just swim forever, and there's seals all around us, and it's just
we're very blessed,
divine where we are. It's amazing. Like it's a real gem of
Actually, I feel it's like Hawaii here of Canada, the ocean, and White Rock where we are, there's 40% more sunshine.
I know.
As you know, some of us swim in the ocean at this time of the year, so we do the Wim Hof
like you.
breathing methods. You want to join us, maybe? You'll lose a few pounds, I'm telling you.
I love it.
It's through breathing the cold. Wim says that if you can breathe the cold, you can breathe any stress that comes your way, because instead of going, you breathe in this. It's like you live or you die. So if we learn to breathe, which I'm learning how to breathe, and we all are, I think that's what our world is doing, the awakened people and all of that. We're learning to breathe the darkness and transforming it with our breath, and bringing more love, because love is everything. So come to the water. I'll ding you next time I go, baby.
I've heard that there's two things that can vibrate all the cells in your body at once, and one of them is cold water, and one of them is those mini trampolines that Tony Robbins loves jumping on. And I totally get why the cold works for people, because I feel like when all of your body starts to vibrate a little bit faster, it sort of moves the energy and stuck emotions and things, and it just kind of happens because you're like doing like involuntary breath work, and it's kind of like I used to play hockey, and same thing. I would feel so much more relaxed after, because I had been breathing and moving, and people work out for that reason. And so
it's a live or die. The breathing is like, if you don't breathe in the cold, you'll die. You'll get a heart attack. That's what it is. Everybody's getting a heart attack. What's going on? But we're learning how to breathe, and and Wim says that doing the cold water like this is running a 10-mile marathon, is the same workout as a 10-mile marathon. Can you believe this? It's like, you can just have your piece of cake after, I'm telling you. Your vegan cake. But the cold water is very magical. And then if you feel a bit depressed because of the rain and the wars and all, because we're all one, we feel everything, we're intuitive beings. I think that the water is a way to heal us, and it heals. It's been proven to heal all depression and inflammation and all of that. So the cold water is a true blessing of the angel. It connects us to earth and sky and heaven and earth and all of that. It's really magical.
Yeah. It's so funny how there's so many things that we were told as kids were really bad that are really good. Or like, it's funny how like the mainstream sometimes gets it kind of completely opposite, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute, no, sorry, it's actually fine. Like you don't get a cold from being in the cold all the time. Which is what I learned when I was a kid. Like, oh, don't go out without your jacket, you're gonna get a cold. It's like, oh, okay, that's the opposite. It's pretty funny. So lovely, everyone. Any other thoughts, questions, connections before we go? I so appreciate these. About halfway through this call, I felt that resonance and that alignment of that harmonic, whatever it is, that it just felt like everything was in tune,
Mhm.
and I was in tune.
Beautiful, isn't it? Because we're all tuning in from our various
Yeah,
private Idahos, let's say, but we're tuning in from the heart, and
Yeah.
exactly about 50% through, I felt the resonance as well.
yeah,
And so for me as a musician, to hear of that device, I know that it's been out in the field for at least 20, 30 more years,
yeah,
but it's been fine-tuned and honed down.
yeah.
And I am now, I need it on my own brain thoughts, on my own emotional body, because I've finally come to a place in my life where it's okay, I got to keep my heart open 100%, because I'm now at a time in my life when I can actually feel things, and I need to, because for us to awaken, we can't let all these heavy feelings drag us down, let's say. And so to
I think Dom
mean,
and Her was one of the first places to make this device,
What
and
was
you
it
might be
called?
able to order it from them.
Called what again? Sorry.
Dom and Her, DAMANHUR, I believe. It's a place in Italy that's like a very spiritual
Right. Yeah.
place. Yeah,
Yes.
really cool place. And
Because
you
it
might
I
be able
must
to-
say, this place is extraordinary. You have to check it out. Write it down. It's just like on my bucket list. And I'd love to go with Scott and you and a few of us take a tour and
Yeah.
play music. It's a temple that they built in a mountain, and it just got discovered 20 years ago. They built it while the government did not know they were artists and avatars and really extraordinary builders. They built tunnels and chapels in the mountain, and then once the government find out, oh my god, well, they turned it into a monumental garden of the earth, and now it's a place where people go visit and have it's just, you have to check it out. It's just like, I have to go. That's part of my dream, on my dream board, is
Yeah.
to go there. And
Yes, Damanhur, DAMAN, correct?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
so. And
Yeah,
I
I-
think in the last couple of years, they opened it to the public where people can go do tours. But before that, it was more of a closed private
Right.
thing. So it's
Right.
like, it's just starting to become
No.
well known
Yes.
and available. It's
So
pretty,
it's important. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
yeah, that's one of the things that we're excited about, is creating or joining some sort of communal thing, land, and building our communities.
Mhm.
That's
It
gonna be
is.
cool.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Finding our tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I think I don't know where Mary Beth lives, and I don't know where you live, Omashar.
Currently, I'm in Colorado. I spent the last decade plus in Hawaii, and now I have folks in England, and I don't know where I am to be. So I'm in pause and pause, and for me, it's just getting fully aligned now, because because of now the internet connections through the pandemic. I have people that I never even imagined that I'd ever be communicating with in Ecuador and Australia and Europe, and it's like it's pulling me everywhere. So where can I efficiently offer my service from? And yeah, so
You're welcome here anytime.
Yeah, if you want to visit up here.
Yeah.
I'd love to. I will. Yes, once that little border thing gets sorted out. I guess it's sorted out, but
It's done. No more cards, nothing. You just cross it like normal.
yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's
good.
great.
Well, namaste and blessings.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you
it's so
so
lovely
much.
to connect everyone.
So lovely to connect.
Peace
Yeah.
out.
Yes. See
Good
you
night,
all
guys.
next week. Tune in. We're going to talk about aliens.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
next
wow.
week it's Alan Steinfeld.
Yes.
And
Great.
we're talking about his book, Making Contact,
Right.
preparing. I don't know what the subtitle is, but something about preparing for the realities of extraterrestrial contact.
Yes.
And he's written this book, and if you go to unite.love and the love stream and click the event page, he wants everyone to vote his book up in the conscious
Right.
living expo thing. But he's written this book that's been written by like 16 different people, and so he's taken some chapters are written by like Air Force pilots who've seen UFOs, and some chapters are written by people who are channeling, and so he's trying to take all these different perspectives and really bring more of the like the realities and the a lot of the people who've had stories, and just sort of bring it together and say like, hey, like something's happening. Lots of people are having these simultaneous experiences of seeing the same thing at the same time, blah blah blah. So let's just talk, you know, let's put it all. It's really cool. I love what he's done. So we're really excited to chat with him next week.
Yeah, he comes often on the Global Peace Tribe.
Yeah.
He's one of the main speakers there. And you know, if you watch also the channel Gaia, the
Yes.
Gaia channel, they have a whole set on the ancestress, the pyramid, and all of that. It's just like we're learning so much about ancestors and other ET and where we come from. It's just like there's so much to learn. So much.
I love Gaia. I watched Alan Steinfeld's interview with Deepak Chopra, which is I think in the last few months, which was really wild. It was kind of like my brain was like stretching because Deepak has a much more scientific, and Alan Steinfeld was talking you know, from his experiences and other people's experiences, and it was really good. I loved it. Yeah. Oh, Marin County from Mary Beth. Thank you for sharing, Mary Beth.
Lovely to
Thank
have
you.
you tuning in.
We're coming to visit soon. We have friends out there, and we're coming out there.
See you tomorrow night, Omashar.
Ooh.
There's Scott shows on Friday and
night.
Saturday, right? Are you there tomorrow?
No. Friday is it's now changed to Wednesday night, Saturday night, and Sunday morning.
Oh, thanks for telling me. Okay.
A different format, except for special shows. So 6 p.m.
It's a great idea. Yeah.
6 p.m. Pacific Wednesday and Saturday, and 10 a.m. Pacific Sunday. So,
I love Wednesdays. I love Wednesdays.
We're working to become one of the broadcast partners for the shows, so that people will be able to tune in from Unite as well.
It's brilliant. What you were saying at the beginning about all these networks coming through the one stream, it's happening. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. We
So
are
lovely.
We're already there.
Thank
Jen,
you, everyone.
love you, Jen. That's so nice.
Chabello, baby.
Ciao.
Love you.
Love.
Bye. See you next
night.
Yeah. Good night. That was so good.
All right.
Nargene.
Can you?
Madame Jagran.
Stop and let's stop this one.
Stop recordings. Yeah.
Yeah.